The billionaire laughed. Not a small laugh, not a polite one. It was loud, sharp, and full of pride. So loud it bounced off the marble walls of the Lawson mansion and made everyone stop breathing. "Did you hear what this servant just said?" Vincent Lawson shouted, pointing angrily. "He said he is the heir to this family." The room exploded with gasps. Some board members shifted uncomfortably in their seats. A few guards exchanged looks. One woman covered her mouth in shock. At the center of the room stood a man in a faded brown servant uniform. His shoes were worn. His hands shook slightly, but his back was straight. His name was Justin. Justin lifted his eyes slowly and looked at Vincent. "I'm not lying," he said calmly. "I am your father's son." The laughter died. For one heavy second, the room went quiet. Then Vincent stepped forward, his face burning with anger. "You must be mad," Vincent snapped. "Do you know who I am? I am the only son of Mr. Chike Lawson. I am the future of this company. And you," he waved his hand at Justin's clothes, "you are nothing but a servant." Justin swallowed. "I didn't choose how I was born," he replied quietly. That was when Vincent lost control. "Security," Vincent shouted. "Get this man out of my house. How dare you stand here and insult my family?" Two guards moved forward. Justin did not fight. He did not beg. He only said one sentence that changed everything. "Before you throw me out," Justin said, "ask your father what happened in this house 30 years ago." Vincent froze. The guards hesitated. The board members leaned forward. Vincent laughed again, but this time his voice sounded unsure. "My father?" he scoffed. "My father does not know you." Just then, the heavy wooden doors behind them opened slowly. Everyone turned. A walking stick touched the floor. An old man stepped into the room. His hair was white. His face was stern. His eyes were tired, but sharp. It was Mr. Chike Lawson, the founder of the Lawson Empire, the real owner of everything. The room stood up at once. "Sir." "Good afternoon, Chief." "Welcome." Mr. Chike raised one hand. Silence fell instantly. His eyes moved around the room, then stopped. They locked onto Justin. The walking stick trembled slightly in his hand. "Justin," Mr. Chike whispered. Vincent turned fast. "Dad?" Mr. Chike took a slow step forward, never taking his eyes off Justin. Then he said the words that made Vincent's heart skip. "Who sent you here?" Justin's voice shook for the first time. "No one, sir," he replied. "I came on my own." The old man's face grew pale. Vincent laughed nervously. "Dad, this man is crazy. He claims—" "I know what he claims," Mr. Chike interrupted quietly. Vincent stopped talking. The old man's eyes filled with something dangerous. Regret. And then he said it. "Stop touching him." The guards stepped back immediately. Vincent stared in confusion. "Dad, what is going on?" Mr. Chike closed his eyes slowly, and when he opened them, his voice was no longer strong. It was broken. "This boy," he said, pointing at Justin, "has been working in this house for years. Quiet, respectful, patient." He paused. "And he looks exactly like someone I once failed." The room held its breath. Vincent shook his head. "Dad, don't encourage this nonsense." Mr. Chike lifted his hand. "Vincent," he said softly, "sit down." Vincent obeyed without knowing why. Mr. Chike turned fully to Justin. "Tell them," he said. "Tell them what you told me in private." Justin took a deep breath. "My mother's name was Grace," he began. "She worked as a cook in this mansion many years ago. She got pregnant and ran away." The board members gasped. Vincent jumped up. "That's a lie," Justin continued, his voice steady. "She ran because the man who did this to her was drunk. He was powerful. He was untouchable." Mr. Chike's hand tightened on his stick. Justin's eyes filled with pain. "She didn't know she was pregnant until later. When she realized it, she was already gone. She raised me alone." The room felt heavy. Years later, Justin continued, "She told me the truth before she died. She told me where it happened. She told me the name of the family." Vincent laughed again, but this time fear sat behind his smile. "And you expect us to believe this story?" he said. Mr. Chike turned slowly to his son. "I believed him enough," the old man said, "to order a DNA test." The room exploded. Vincent's face went white. "What?" he whispered. Mr. Chike reached into his coat and pulled out an envelope. "My lawyers brought the result yesterday," he said quietly. Vincent's hands trembled. "No," he muttered. "That's impossible." Mr. Chike looked at Justin again. The result says, he is my son. Vincent staggered back. The room spun. Justin closed his eyes as tears finally fell. But Mr. Chike was not done. There is more, he said. Everyone leaned in. The man responsible for that night, Mr. Chike continued, was not a stranger. Vincent's heart slammed. He was my own son. The room erupted in chaos. No, Vincent shouted. Dad, stop. Mr. Chike raised his voice for the first time. It was you, Vincent. The words hit like thunder. Vincent went pale. Justin's legs almost gave way. The board members stood frozen. And just as Vincent opened his mouth to deny everything, the door burst open. A lawyer rushed in, holding a phone. Sir, he said urgently to Mr. Chike, the police are on their way. Mr. Chike closed his eyes. Justin looked up, fear and shock fighting inside him. And Vincent realized something terrifying. This was no longer just about inheritance. It was about the truth finally catching up. The room felt like it was on fire. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. The words, "It was you," Vincent still hung in the air like smoke that refused to clear. Vincent Lawson stood frozen, his mouth slightly open, his face drained of color. His expensive native cap slipped from his head and fell to the floor, but he did not notice. "Dad," he whispered, his voice cracking. "What are you saying?" Mr. Chike Lawson leaned heavily on his walking stick. For the first time, the powerful billionaire looked weak, not in body, but in spirit. "I said the truth," the old man replied. "The truth I buried for 30 years. Vincent shook his head violently. "No, this is a setup. This servant planned this. He wants money. He wants my place." Justin flinched, but he did not respond. He had learned long ago that shouting did not change truth. Mr. Chike raised his hand slowly. "Enough." His voice was calm, but it carried weight. "Vincent, you were drunk that night," Mr. Chike continued. "You had too much alcohol at the company party. I warned you. I told you to go to your room." Vincent swallowed hard. "You didn't listen," Mr. Chike said. "You went to the kitchen. Grace was there, working late. She trusted this house." Justin's chest tightened at the mention of his mother's name. "She came to me crying the next morning," Mr. Chike said, his voice shaking now. "I asked questions. You denied everything. You swore it never happened." Vincent shouted suddenly, "Because it didn't!" The board members jumped. Mr. Chike's eyes hardened. "Then explain the DNA." Silence crashed down again. Vincent's hands trembled. He looked around the room like a trapped animal. At the guards, the board members, the servant kneeling, the father he could no longer control. "This is fake," Vincent said weakly. "DNA can be manipulated." Mr. Chike turned to the lawyer standing near the door. "Explain." The lawyer cleared his throat. "Sir, the test was conducted by 2 independent labs. Both results confirm the same thing." He paused. "Justin Lawson is your biological son." A loud gasp filled the room. Justin's knees finally gave way, and he dropped fully to the floor, not in weakness, but in shock. All his life, he had carried this truth like a heavy stone. Now it was too real. Vincent staggered backward and fell into a chair. "This can't be happening," he muttered. "This can't be my life." Mr. Chike looked at him with deep disappointment. "It became your life the night you chose alcohol over discipline." Vincent suddenly jumped up, rage taking over fear. "So what?" he shouted. "Even if he is your son, he grew up poor. He knows nothing about business. He is not fit to be heir." Justin looked up sharply. The words hurt, but not as much as before. Mr. Chike replied slowly, "Being an heir is not about suits and boardrooms. It is about character." Vincent laughed bitterly. "Character? He has been scrubbing floors." "And you," Mr. Chike shot back, "have been scrubbing your conscience." The board members exchanged uneasy looks. This was no longer a family issue. It was becoming a public storm. Justin finally spoke again. "I didn't come for money," he said quietly. "I didn't even want to come. I only wanted my name." Vincent scoffed. "Your name?" Justin nodded. "My mother died believing this house would never accept her truth. I promised her I would try." Mr. Chike closed his eyes, pain cutting deep. Grace deserved justice. Vincent slammed the table. "Stop mentioning her." The room jumped. That was when the head of security stepped forward. "Sir," he said to Mr. Chike, "the police are now at the gate." Vincent's head snapped up. Police? The lawyer nodded. Sir, there is an allegation of a serious crime. The authorities must be informed. Vincent's voice dropped to a whisper. Dad, you wouldn't do this to your own son. Mr. Chike looked at him for a long moment. I already did, he said softly. By protecting you all these years. Justin felt tears roll down his face. Not tears of joy, tears of release. The doors opened slightly as police officers waited outside, not yet entering. Mr. Chike lifted his hand again. Wait, he said. Everyone froze. He turned to Justin. Stand up, my son. Justin hesitated, then slowly rose to his feet. Look at them, Mr. Chike said. Look at everyone in this room. Justin did. Board members in black suits, guards with stiff faces. Vincent, once powerful, now broken. You survived, Mr. Chike continued. You were raised with nothing, yet you came here with respect. That matters. Vincent laughed weakly. You're choosing him over me? Mr. Chike shook his head. I'm choosing truth over lies. Vincent's breathing became heavy. If the police take me, he said, everything will collapse. The company? Mr. Chike interrupted. The company will survive, but lies will not. The head of security leaned in. Sir, we can't delay much longer. Mr. Chike nodded slowly. Then he did something no one expected. He turned to Justin and said, come with me. Justin blinked. Sir? Mr. Chike walked toward a private study door at the side of the hall. Now, he said firmly. Justin followed, confused, his heart pounding. Vincent shouted after them, Dad, don't walk away from this. The door closed behind Mr. Chike and Justin. Inside the study, the room was quiet and heavy with history, old books, framed photos, awards. Mr. Chike walked to a drawer and pulled out a small, worn envelope. He handed it to Justin. This, he said, is something your mother left behind. Justin's hands shook as he opened it. Inside was a faded photograph, a young Grace. Standing beside a much younger Mr. Chike, Justin's breath caught. She trusted me, Mr. Chike said, and I failed her. Justin looked up, tears streaming. Why didn't you look for us? Mr. Chike's voice broke. Because I was afraid of what the truth would destroy. Suddenly, loud voices echoed from outside the study. Vincent was shouting. The police were entering. Mr. Chike grabbed Justin's hand firmly. Listen to me, he said urgently. What happens next will shake this family and the company. Justin nodded, barely able to speak. Mr. Chike leaned closer. But there is something else you must know, he said. Justin's heart raced. What? He asked. Mr. Chike lowered his voice. Vincent is not the only one who knows about that night. Justin's eyes widened. Before he could ask more, the study door burst open, and the police stepped inside. The room filled with uniforms. 2 police officers stepped into the study, their faces calm but serious. Behind them stood the family lawyer and the head of security. The noise from the main hall faded, replaced by a heavy silence that pressed against the walls. Mr. Cheeky Lawson did not raise his voice. I will cooperate, he said quietly. But this conversation is not finished. The officer nodded. Sir, we only need to ask a few questions. Justin stood, frozen beside the desk, the faded photograph still in his hand. His heart beat so loud he thought everyone could hear it. Vincent's voice echoed from the hallway. You can't do this. This is a mistake. One of the officers glanced toward the door, then back to Mr. Chike. Sir, we'll start with you. Mr. Chike leaned on his walking stick and sat down slowly. He looked older than ever, like the truth had added years to his body in minutes. Ask, he said. The officer spoke gently. You confirmed that the young man Justin is your biological son. Yes, Mr. Chike replied. The DNA test confirmed it. And you also stated that a serious crime occurred many years ago. Mr. Chike closed his eyes. Yes. Justin swallowed hard. He felt like the floor might open and pull him down. The officer turned slightly toward Justin. Son, you can step outside if this is too much. Justin shook his head. I want to hear. The officer nodded. Mr. Chike spoke again. Grace worked in this house. She was kind, quiet. She trusted us. I trusted my son to respect this home. His voice broke. I was wrong. The officer wrote something down. You said earlier that Vincent was not the only one who knew about that night. Mr. Chike opened his eyes slowly. Yes, he said. Someone helped bury the truth. Justin's chest tightened. Who? He asked, his voice barely a whisper. Before Mr. Chike could answer, the study door opened again. Vincent walked in. He was no longer shouting. His face was pale. His eyes were red. The confident young man who once ruled the room was gone. Dad, Vincent said, his voice shaking. Please, let's talk alone. The officer raised a hand. Sir, Mr. Chike lifted his own hand. Let him speak. Vincent looked at Justin, then away. I didn't plan for any of this, Vincent said. I was young. I was drunk. I didn't even remember everything clearly the next day. Justin clenched his fists. But when Grace came to you crying, Vincent continued, I panicked. I thought my life was over. Mr. Chike stared at him. So you chose silence. Vincent nodded slowly. I chose fear. Justin finally spoke, his voice steady, but full of pain. And my mother chose to run. She chose to suffer alone. Vincent looked at him for the first time. I didn't know she was pregnant. Justin met his eyes. But you knew you hurt her. The room went quiet again. The officer cleared his throat. Sir, did anyone else assist in covering this up? Vincent hesitated. Mr. Chike's voice turned sharp. Answer him. Vincent's shoulders dropped. The former house manager, he said. He destroyed records. He paid Grace to leave. He told her never to come back. Justin's breath caught. She never took any money, he said quickly. She told me that. She ran because she was afraid. Mr. Chike nodded slowly. Then he lied to protect you. The officer wrote again. Where is this man now? Vincent shook his head. I don't know. He left years ago. Mr. Chike looked tired. But the truth did not leave. A knock came from the hallway. One of the board members peeked in, his face tense. Sir, he said to Mr. Chike, the board is asking what happens next. The company, Mr. Chike raised his hand. The company will wait. He turned to Justin. My son, he said softly, I owe you more than words. But today, the truth must come before comfort. Justin nodded. I don't want revenge. Vincent scoffed weakly. Then why are you here? Justin looked at him calmly. Because I am tired of hiding. The officer stepped forward. Sir, he said to Vincent, we need you to come with us. Vincent's eyes widened. Now? Yes, the officer replied. There are questions to answer. Vincent turned to his father, desperation flooding his face. Dad, please. Mr. Chike did not move. I protected you once, he said. I will not do it again. Vincent's knees shook. You're choosing him. Mr. Chike's voice was firm. I am choosing the truth. The officers moved closer. Vincent suddenly laughed. A broken sound. You think this ends here? Everyone froze. Vincent looked at Justin. You think they will accept you? The board? The public? They will tear you apart. Justin felt fear rise, but he stood still. Mr. Chike spoke sharply. Enough. Vincent leaned closer to Justin, lowering his voice. There are things you don't know. Justin frowned. What things? Vincent smiled sadly. Ask your father why your mother never returned. Ask him who really chased her away. Mr. Chike's face changed. Justin turned to him quickly. Sir? Mr. Chike's grip tightened on his walking stick. Before he could answer, the officer placed a hand on Vincent's arm. Sir, it's time. Vincent allowed himself to be led away, but not before turning back one last time. This family, he said quietly, is built on secrets. The door closed behind him. The room felt empty. Justin's heart pounded. What did he mean? He asked Mr. Chike. What don't I know? Mr. Chike looked away. The officer glanced between them. Sir, is there something else we should be aware of? Mr. Chike took a deep breath. There is, he said slowly, and when you hear it, everything will change again. Justin's hands trembled. What is it? He asked. Mr. Chike turned back to him, pain filling his eyes. The night Grace left, he said, someone followed her. Justin's breath stopped. And that person, Mr. Chike continued, was not Vincent. Justin felt the ground disappear beneath his feet. Before he could ask another question, a phone rang loudly in the room. The lawyer answered, then went pale. He looked at Mr. Chike. Sir, he said, they found the former house manager. Mr. Chike straightened. Where? The lawyer swallowed. He's ready to talk, he said, but what he knows will shake this family worse than today. Justin's heart raced. The truth was not done. It was only getting deeper. The house manager arrived just before sunset. His name was Mr. Adekunle, and the moment he stepped into the mansion, the weight of the past walked in with him. He no longer wore fine clothes or carried himself with pride. His shoulders were bent. His eyes avoided everyone's face, especially Justin's. Justin stood beside Mr. Chike Lawson, his heart beating fast. This was the man who knew what really happened to his mother. Mr. Chike did not sit. He stood, leaning slightly on his walking stick, his voice calm but heavy. Adekunle, he said, for 30 years I trusted you with my house, with my family. Today you will tell the truth. Adekunle swallowed hard. Yes, sir. The police officer nodded. Speak clearly. Adekunle took a deep breath. The night Grace left, she was crying. She packed small clothes in a bag and ran out through the back gate. Justin's chest tightened. I followed her, Adekunle continued, his voice shaking, not because I wanted to harm her, but because Vincent ordered me to. Justin turned sharply. Ordered you to do what? Adekunle hesitated. Mr. Chike's voice cut through. Answer him. Adekunle closed his eyes. Vincent said she was a problem. He said if she talked, his life would be ruined. He told me to scare her, to make sure she never came back. Justin felt anger burn through him. What did you do to her? Justin asked quietly. Adekunle shook his head quickly. I did not touch her. I swear. I only followed her to the bus park. She was shaking, crying. She kept saying she didn't know she was pregnant yet. Justin's breath caught. She begged me not to tell anyone, Adekunle continued. She said she just wanted to leave Lagos and start again. Mr. Chike's face twisted with pain. Why didn't you tell me? He asked. Adekunle's shoulders slumped. Because Vincent paid me. He told me you would never forgive me if you knew. He said the family name would be destroyed. Silence crashed down. Justin clenched his fists. My mother suffered alone because of fear. Adekunle nodded, tears rolling down his face. I am sorry. Mr. Chike closed his eyes slowly. I failed her twice, he said. First by raising a son without discipline. Second by trusting silence. The police officer cleared his throat. Sir, this testimony confirms obstruction and intimidation. Mr. Chike nodded. Do what you must. Adekunle was led away quietly. Justin felt dizzy. So much truth in one day. He looked at Mr. Chike. Sir, why didn't you ever notice me? I worked in this house for years. Mr. Chike turned to him, eyes filled with regret. I noticed, he said softly. I noticed your discipline, your kindness, your silence. Justin frowned. Then why didn't you ask questions? Because, Mr. Chike replied, I was afraid of what the answers would cost. Justin nodded slowly. That night, the board members met again. The room was tense. Vincent was no longer present. His seat was empty, like a warning. Mr. Chike stood at the head of the table. For years, he said, this company stood on profit and pride. Today, it must stand on truth. A board member cleared his throat. Sir, what about succession? The room went still. Justin's heart raced. Mr. Chike looked around slowly, then spoke. I am not naming an heir today, he said, but I will no longer pretend Justin does not exist. Murmurs filled the room. He will be acknowledged, Mr. Chike continued. He will be educated. He will be protected. Justin felt everyone's eyes on him. A board member frowned. Public reaction. I don't care, Mr. Chike said firmly. I buried truth once. I will not do it again. Later that night, Justin sat alone in a guest room. For the first time in his life, he slept on a soft bed. But sleep did not come. Memories of his mother filled his mind, her tired smile, her quiet strength, the way she never complained. He whispered softly, Mama, they finally heard you. A knock came at the door. Mr. Chike stepped in slowly. May I? He asked. Justin nodded. Mr. Chike sat across from him. I know words cannot heal years, he said. But I want you to know something. Justin listened. I am not asking you to forgive me, Mr. Chike continued. Forgiveness is a gift, not a duty. Justin's eyes filled with tears. I only want a chance to do right, Mr. Chike said. Justin nodded slowly. I don't hate you. Mr. Chike's breath caught. But, Justin added, I need time. Mr. Chike smiled sadly. That is fair. Just then, A guard rushed in. "Sir," he said urgently, "we have a problem." Mr. Chike stood. "What is it?" The guard lowered his voice. "Vincent has been released on bail." Justin's heart slammed. "And?" Mr. Chike asked. The guard swallowed. "He's angry." Justin felt a chill run down his spine. Mr. Chike looked at Justin with concern. "You are not safe yet." Justin straightened. "I've lived with fear before." Mr. Chike shook his head. This time, the fear wears expensive shoes. Outside, thunder rumbled in the distance. Somewhere in Lagos, Vincent Lawson sat in a dark room, his jaw tight, his phone in his hand. "You think you can replace me?" he muttered. He looked at Justin's photo on the news and smiled bitterly. The storm was not over. It was just gathering strength. The rain started before midnight. Not a gentle rain, but the heavy Lagos kind that beat the earth hard, like it was angry about something that had been hidden too long. Justin stood by the window of the guest room, watching the rain fall on the bright compound lights of the Lawson mansion. Guards moved quietly below. Cars passed outside the gate. Life continued, but inside him, everything felt new and fragile. Vincent was out, on bail, and angry. Justin heard a knock. "Come in," he said. Mr. Chike Lawson entered slowly, his walking stick tapping the floor. He looked tired, older than his 75 years. The truth had not spared him. "They've doubled security," Mr. Chike said. "No one comes in without clearance." Justin nodded. "Thank you, sir." Mr. Chike hesitated, then said softly, "You don't have to call me that." Justin swallowed. "I don't know what to call you yet." Mr. Chike accepted that with a nod. Outside, thunder rolled. Minutes later, the house phone rang. The head of security answered. His face changed. "Sir," he said to Mr. Chike, "it's Vincent." Justin's chest tightened. Mr. Chike took the phone. Vincent's voice came through loud enough for Justin to hear. "You really did it," Vincent said bitterly. "You replaced me with a servant." Mr. Chike's voice stayed calm. "I did not replace you. You replaced yourself the night you chose silence over truth." Vincent laughed sharply. "Enjoy him while it lasts. Lagos will never accept him." Justin felt the words hit, but he stayed still. Mr. Chike replied, "Lagos will accept the truth." The call ended. Silence returned. The next morning, the news broke. Lawson Empire shaken by paternity scandal. Servant confirmed as billionaire's son. DNA test reveals shocking truth. Cameras gathered outside the gate. Justin watched from a distance, fear rising. "I can leave," he said quietly to Mr. Chike. "I don't want to destroy what you built." Mr. Chike turned to him sharply. "You are not the destruction. The lie was." Later that day, the board gathered again. The room was tense. Mr. Chike sat at the head. Justin sat quietly at the side, not at the table. Some board members avoided his eyes. One man finally spoke. "Sir, public pressure is growing. We need clarity." Mr. Chike nodded. "Then I will be clear." He stood slowly. "For 30 years I lived with a lie," he said. That lie produced pain, silence, and fear. He turned slightly toward Justin. "This young man did not ask to be born. He did not ask to suffer. He worked in this house without complaint, even when his blood ran through these walls." Murmurs filled the room. "I am not announcing an heir today," Mr. Chike continued. "But I am announcing this Justin Lawson is my son, and he will be treated as such." Some board members nodded. Others looked uncomfortable. One man asked, "And Vincent?" Mr. Chike's voice hardened. "Vincent will face the law like every other man." Outside the room, Vincent watched the announcement on his phone. His face was dark. "They chose him," he muttered. That evening, Vincent drove toward the mansion, but security stopped him at the gate. "You no longer have unrestricted access," the guard said firmly. Vincent stared in disbelief. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes," the guard replied. "And we also know who you are not." Vincent drove away in silence. Back inside, Justin sat alone again. He felt lost. Was he a servant? A son? A mistake? A future heir? Mr. Chike joined him quietly. "I know you're confused," the old man said. "So was I once." Justin finally asked the question that had been burning inside him. "Why didn't you look for my mother harder?" Mr. Chike's eyes filled with tears. "Because I was a coward," he admitted, "and because I feared losing the family name more than I feared losing my soul." Justin nodded slowly. My mother said something before she died, Justin said. She said, never let hate build a house in your heart. Mr. Chai closed his eyes. Days passed. Vincent's trial date was set. The former house manager testified. Grace's story was finally written into records, not whispers. Justin began attending meetings not as a decision maker, but as a learner. Some staff welcomed him. Others watched carefully. One afternoon, a young intern bowed slightly to him and said, "Good afternoon, sir." Justin paused. "Just Justin," he replied gently. But inside, something stood taller. One evening, Justin visited the old kitchen at the back of the mansion, the place where his mother once worked. He stood quietly. "This is where it began," he whispered. Mr. Chike stood behind him. "And where we make it right," he replied. On the final day of the chapter that changed the Lawson family forever, a simple ceremony was held. No cameras, no crowd. Just Mr. Chike and Justin. Mr. Chike handed Justin a document. "What is this?" Justin asked. "A legal acknowledgement," Mr. Chike said. "Your name, your birth, your place in this family." Justin's hands trembled as he read. For the first time in his life, his name stood on paper without shame. Justin Lawson. "Son." He looked up. "I don't want revenge," Justin said. "I don't want power." Mr. Chike nodded. "Then you may be the strongest Lawson of all." Outside, the rain stopped. The clouds slowly parted. The mansion stood quiet, not as a place of secrets anymore, but as a place facing its truth. And as Justin stepped back into the house that once called him servant, he carried something heavier than wealth. A name that finally stood. If you were Mr. Chike Lawson, knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently to protect Grace and Justin without destroying your family and company? If you were Justin, carrying the truth for so many years, what would you have done better or differently when you finally stood before the Lawson family? If you were Vincent, faced with fear, guilt, and power, what choice should you have made that night and in the years after to prevent everything from falling apart? Please share your view in the comments section.